Yay! Hello, Kerno. Yeah, we got Kerno. Good evening, folks. Yeah, it's been a bit of a busy time recently. We've done quite a few videos in the last week or two, and I just thought it's about time I got my finger out and did another live stream. So I thought we would tonight we would go for it. And the weather's pretty pants here at the moment. It's no, it hasn't rained much all day. We've just had these lightweight on and off showers, and yeah, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty all right today. It's been a bit hit and miss. It looks like it was going to rain a couple of times, but yeah, it's not been too bad. Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, so I'm wondering what's everybody anybody kind of come in? We're a couple of minutes early, so yeah. Sorry, just weather go away. That's all right. I just clicked the mouse and the weather thing came up. Yay! Somebody's dropped the like. Kerno, that must be you, mate. Don't know if anybody else is on. Anybody else? Anybody else? Hold on, we'll get the old thingamajig up a minute. Yeah, I'm just doing the final stages. Yeah, anybody's. Yeah, who's that? Yeah, Chris Sedgman. Hello, mate. How are you doing, Chris? All right. Hope you're okay, mate. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, just so I can keep an eye on the chat because it's difficult. Yeah, hope you're okay, Chris. Hope things is going okay for you, mate. And yeah, the weather. Well, we had that lovely hot weather, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago, and now it's just gone pants. It's just turned to crap. Yay! Greetings, Kerno. How are you doing, mate? All right, all good. Hold on a minute. I'm just going to put that down a second because I'm going to reach for you're in your happy place now, and you've just cracked open a nice cold beer. Well, guess what, folks? I've got some rum, so that's cool. Mm. Oh yeah, nice rum. Yeah, perfect. Rum and coke, just my favourite thing, I think. Hmm. I don't know what it is about. Yeah, going to get very wet. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay, Chris. Yeah, yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah. Now, one of the things I saw earlier was I rode up to Pendennis Point, and I noticed that there's so many ships in the bay at anchor, and that's usually a sign of rough weather coming because when the ships all anchor out in the bay, off of St Anthony away, but literally out close into the bay, then normally it means that they're sheltering or yeah, some of them might be waiting to come into the docks, but others will be sheltering, because obviously out further out at sea, the weather's worse. So the closer they are to land, I guess they get a bit of shelter. Yeah, tomorrow night's meant to be okay. Yeah, well, that's good, but not tomorrow morning. No, I think tomorrow morning is probably the perfect opportunity to have a lie in, I reckon. Yeah, so, oh, there is one thing though. Now, I took the dogs up Pendennis this morning and walked around the moat, and I think tomorrow. Now, yes, I've completely lost my train of thought. So hey, Mark's Adventures. Hello, folks. Hello, mate. Yeah. So, so today is a bit of a funny day. Well, not funny, but it's a bit of a poignant day, and I don't know if anybody knows what historical relevance of it. Well, now 81 years ago tonight, folks, the men of the Allied armies they set sail for France because tomorrow is the 6th of June, and that is ultimately D-Day anniversary, folks. Tomorrow is the 81st anniversary of D-Day. Now, I don't know if you can believe that, or if you know that, perhaps you do. But yes, yeah, well, definitely right. Yeah, because it was in this part of the world, pretty much the whole of the southwestern peninsula was embarkation points for the United States Army 29th Infantry. And that's quite something that always makes me think this time of year, and it's I always take it quite seriously, to be honest with you, folks. It's and I've got quite a very good understanding of historical knowledge of stuff of what that would what that meant, and the kind of men, personnel, and vehicles and everything that was moved. But yeah, it is a sobering thought, you know. So yeah, so that's one thing I wanted to kind of like point out that tonight, for anyone who doesn't know. And of course, now if you go back 81 years ago in time, then the D-Day landings were postponed a couple of times because this time of year, I think, has always been synonymous with hit and miss weather, folks. And obviously, the D-Day operation had to take place; it had to be done, and 6th of June 1944 was a very rare weather window, folks, because trying to cross the channel with an army in rough weather, well, that's just not, that's very, very difficult. So the reason why it was the 6th of June was because for the previous week running up to it, the the assault was cancelled, folks. It was cancelled a couple of times, and one thing you got to remember is well, building up to 6th of June 1944, all those men that were already on board the boats, they'd been on the boats for the best part of a week before they got the green light for the invasion, and that's pretty. That must have been pretty awful, folks. I mean, stuck on a boat, shoulder to shoulder with other troops, and seasickness and lots of it doesn't bear thinking about. You must be thinking about the smell and the discomfort and the you know not to mention the nerves, folks. I mean, you must have been thinking about some of what those poor guys were thinking about, what was going through their minds, and writing letters and stuff to family, and and ultimately preparing for the fact that that might be the last mission they ever done, and sadly for a lot of them it was, wasn't it? And yeah, so this is the this time of year I always get a bit of a a bit of a serious sort of feeling for that, if you know what I mean. And it's always a poignant time of the year because obviously it was so epic, so massive, and well, it was the biggest ever seaborne invasion in history, folks. And it's not something that you ever want to happen again, isn't it? And yeah, hello, Mark, mate. Yeah, sorry, I've been ranting and not talking much about stuff, but yeah, no, I just wanted to focus on that for a minute. Obviously the 81st anniversary of D-Day, folks, and that's 81 years. And I can remember when I was a lot younger, and it was the 50th anniversary of D-Day, and I was only like 11 or 12, and I was in the Air Cadets, and we used to do parades and remembrance for services for it and stuff, and it was yeah, it was pretty good. But now it's 81 years, folks. That's crazy. Yeah, definitely. So you know and now one thing that sort of like I think a lot of people can relate to the Hollywood aspect to it. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, but it's worth remembering that the British troops, because a lot of the time always seems like it's a lot of the Americans seem to take the limelight, and but we were there too, folks, and it wasn't easy for anyone. It was a pretty nasty affair, and but obviously it's no part of war is pleasant, folks. And that's what we got to remember. And yeah, definitely, yeah. But this like tonight, I've it is a very sort of emotional sort of like thought, and especially when you've got so many lives that were lost, and so many men that were, changed forever. It's pretty well, no one can comprehend it. Yeah, and Prince of Wales, but yeah, that's the D-Day boat. Tell him I sent you. They will give you a discount. And wow, that would be amazing. Yeah, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, that's flipping amazing. Thanks for that, Mark. Yeah, but yeah, well, I mean, you know, you think of what's happened in 81 years. A hell of a lot has happened, doesn't it? And everybody's really sort of like, everybody's got their own lives. Everybody does their own opinions, beliefs, their own sort of like way of life and structures and everything else. And I guess it's all thanks to those guys, isn't it? It's all thanks to those men that made the ultimate sacrifice, And yeah, but anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that all night. But it's just wanted to talk about it, and yeah, just to mention it. So right then, so recently, folks, we've done quite a few vids recently. It's been pretty cool, to be honest. We've done yeah, we've done some good vids recently, I'm gonna come off that now because I can see the chat here a minute. So we shut that down, and yeah, coming up to it now. Hold on a minute. Right, so yeah, I'm just looking at my vids so I can talk about which ones we've done, And of course, recently, well, kind of started with the yeah. Now, since Trevithick Day, that was amazing, folks. Trevithick Day, and that's something I always look forward to, you know, and that's been quite well received, and of course as well. Then after that, we had the first heavy anti-aircraft battery. Now we've been through a bit of a spate of these recently. We've been to two different heavy anti-aircraft batteries, one in Falmouth and one across the water, which we won't divulge its location. But yeah, now obviously there's been drone footage and stuff like that as well, and quite often if you look at the drone footage from the gun battery in Falmouth, you can literally see the docks, behind it as you look out towards the harbour. You can see the dockyard, and you can see how important those guns were, because I believe it was 1943, or might no, I think it was early 1944. There was actually the Germans bombed the fuel depot that was at Swanvale. Now Swanvale was a little part of Falmouth, and now when I was a kid, I lived in that area, and I remember there being all these like Teletubby land. It was like all these big underground tanks, all buried with grass and weird things poking out the top and all kinds of stuff. But that was basically storage, aircraft fuel, and also I believe ship fuel. And it's very interesting because on this particular night that the fuel depot was bombed, and the Luftwaffe came in with multiple aircraft, and they bombed it, folks, and obviously scored a hit on the fuel depot. And one of the things, I think it was Dave, one of my subscribers, Dave, he was talking about it earlier on the comments. He was saying that yeah, when the fuel tank was hit with the bomb and it was ruptured, there was a burning lake or burning river of fuel, which we believe is petrol likely, but it was literally running down the hillside. And at the bottom of the hillside, at the bottom of the hill, there were some houses, folks. And no, this is a true story. And one of the probably the most tremendously brave act was there was now no idea what he was doing there, but he just happened to be there. There was a US Navy chap with a digger, and what he did was he saved the houses ultimately, because he used a digger to dig a trench in front of the houses to catch the burning fuel as it was running down the hillside. He caught it went into this ditch that he dug, and obviously that allowed the firemen to put it out. But incredible, incredible story. And I do believe, I think that man was, he was awarded a medal for that. I think it may have been, I'm not sure what medal it was, but it was an American medal for his bravery for saving those houses, which is pretty cool, isn't it? But yeah, lots going on here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he saved and save the houses as well. I mean, these were like civilian houses, and they were saved. And which without that chap there with his digger, then it would have been a different kettle of fish. But yeah, but on the drone footage, you can see all of these things. In the bits of land where these things were. Now, I think that the fuel tanks were being removed by. Probably over 20 years ago. They've been dug out, and houses have been built in their place and stuff. But it's one of those things. It's kind of noted in history, and I think it's rather cool that we remember that for people. But yeah, so we've done that recently. So we've done the heavy anti-aircraft battery site. That's Penance Battery, and then we did after that. Yeah, we've been doing some drone videos as well of the harbour and stuff. That's quite good. And and we went up to Tregeniggy Woods. Now that place was amazing, folks. We Tregeniggy Woods is it used to be just an unkept woodland. Basically, it used to be just you still got some drone footage. Yeah, that would be interesting to see that, mate. Yeah, but yeah, Tregeniggy Woods, it used to be just unkept, like well, I wouldn't call it woodland because it was just it when I was a kid and I was a teenager, it was just crap. But now it's been transformed, and it's I took the dogs up there the other week, and didn't recognise it. It was just like I've never been there. It was amazing, and there's a group of volunteers that maintain all the woodland, and they've got some beautiful wood carvings in the tree trunks that have had the tops taken off of them, or they've come down or whatever. But that's brilliant, and can't recommend that place enough for if anybody's up, wants a nice place to walk the dog, or maybe take your children. That would be a good place. And so we did that, and it's just been pretty good. And then obviously, Argo Reservoir. And the Argo Reservoir, went up to Argo Reservoir, and that was really interesting. That was, I mean, can you believe it, folks? The Argo Reservoir, I caught my first ever fish in that reservoir with my dad. I think I was only about 5 or 6 years old. So it's interesting. And I think if you want a really, really good stank, and I've got to be honest, I haven't done it yet, but I'm just going to move this down because it looks like you're talking to a head. Yeah, so if you want a real good walk, there is actually a footpath that goes pretty much all the way around the edge of Argyle Reservoir, and I'd like to do that one day. And I think when the weather sorts itself out, and ideally you don't want to be doing that on a scorching hot day, because you don't want to be doing that on a hot day, folks, because it's exhausting and you're gonna fry basically, So sorry, I'm just getting messages and stuff. Yeah, you don't want to do that on a hot day. So and then of course after that was the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. Now that was something that I do. Hi Danny, all right mate. Yeah, Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. That's something I had a great time doing, and I think I've been doing that now for about 10 years. I think this year was my 10th year, and Distinguished Gentleman's Ride. It's a charity fundraiser, and it's raising money for men's health and of course prostate cancer research, which is incredible for the guys. And It's actually if anybody doesn't know anything about it, it's a global event. Now, obviously, the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is basically an event where everybody meets up on their bikes and their motorbikes, and they wear, they dress smart, dapper, like, So this year I was adorned with a grey suit, a bow tie, and a shirt, and my little waistcoat, and yeah, it was good. And I think the Hale Distinguished Gentleman's Ride this year, I think they raised £20,000 for the charity. Yeah, you definitely, mate. You got to come next year. Yeah, you'll love it. I want to see Mr. Kerno dressed up like Lord of the Manor. That would be cool. Yeah, yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, yeah. But fabulous day out, and that day was so hot. No, it couldn't have been more perfect. And because the actual Distinguished Gentleman's Ride was held on a certain day, but it's done all over the world. In all the different countries that do it, it is done simultaneously on one day of the year. But unfortunately, down here in Cornwall, we had to postpone ours for a week because of bad weather, and it was crap weather that weekend. I remember it, but we've postponed it for a week, and it was perfect. That was the best decision ever, I think. I mean, the weather was absolutely perfect that week. Yeah, and that the weekend, the Sunday that we did the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, it was absolutely perfect. It was brilliant. Yeah, and of course, then I think it was the weekend after that, I went to Tredinick Steam Rally. Anybody who doesn't know where that is, it's on the road towards Wadebridge. It's not quite Wadebridge, but it's sort of like, I'd say, I guess, about a couple of miles away from Wadebridge. But it's always the first steam engine rally of the year. Well, the first vintage rally of the year, and I've been doing that for lots of years as well. And that was a real pleasure. That was I had my daughter as well, and we had a great day, and that was quite good. And of course, then you know I did went back. Then I went back to the anti-aircraft battery, Penance battery, and yeah, with the drone, because I just felt like unfinished business. That, I mean, the first time myself and Mr. Kerno, we went up there to do our explore it. God, I don't know if can you remember the weather, Kerno? It just turned nasty, didn't it? It was so wet. Yeah, it was a wet one, totally. And I think we were glad to get out of it, weren't we? And I think every part of me got soaked, and I know Kerno suffered because he didn't have a coat. Dear of him, but yeah, but yeah, it was pretty unpleasant. But we did it, didn't we? And it was a result. We went into the battery because luckily, I mean, years ago, yeah, I don't think it was meant to be that. No, it wasn't meant to be that bad. I don't think, mate. Yeah, but I didn't realise because years ago I'd heard about it and I'd never ever been there, never ever went there to look at it because I always assumed that it was in the golf course and it was private land and it was off limits, and that's what I always thought. But it all started it back in the sort of like the tail end of March because I took me dogs up to Stack, up to Pennant Point, which is the coast path going along, and my dog, Charlie, he started roaming up the hillside all by himself, and I didn't know where he was going, and he wouldn't come back, so I had to go and follow him and find out what he was up to. And turns out Charlie had taken this footpath that literally went, yeah, Charlie exploring how, yeah, Charlie taken this footpath that literally went up to where we were there in that field, because I first thoughts was, haven't been there for years, don't know what the situation with it is now. I thought, well, it's my luck that we're going to go into that field. Charlie's going to be in there running around, and there's going to be a field full of cows. But there wasn't. It was just that path going up, and I followed Charlie, and that's when we went right to the edge of it by that stile there. And yeah, then I realised then it was a footpath because lo and behold, that day there was a couple young lady, a lady and gentleman walking in there from the other way down, and I saw them, and I asked them. I said, "Look, I didn't realise this was a footpath," and he said, "Yeah, it's a footpath." So I thought, perfect, and that was so obviously meant to happen. So we did it anyway. But that was a fantastic explore, and yeah, so I went back up there with the drone because obviously the day that me and Kerno went was an absolute deluge. It was absolutely awful, and yeah, Star, yeah, he was there, yeah, but we couldn't fly the drone that day. We went and done the explore, so we thought, right, okay, well, I obviously it's local for me now, so I thought, right, no, I'm going to go back there at a later date. I'm going to wait for the weather to be right. I'm going to go back there and going to film it with the drone. So that's what I did because Kerner got some drone footage on our way up there. Yeah, the command bunker. Yeah. Yeah, it did. It was dry in there, wasn't it, mate? It was fantastically dry, and that's something else that impressed me because you know the fact that these buildings are 80 years old now, and they're all made out of like the traditional poured or prefab concrete with the mundic, like the Cornish mundic in the concrete, because they use beach sand and mine spoil for mixing in with the cement and then making the concrete, and over time it crumbles and gives way. But yeah, but the fact that these buildings are still, you know, standing and they're still in great condition, a lot of them are, and I think that's pretty much just a testament to how it was built, and yeah, so that that helped us anyway, and I went back up there with the drone and filmed it anyway, so that was good. And then of course, recently, yeah, well, last weekend, myself and Kerno invited me to come with him, and we went over in the car. We went to the other side of the bay, and Kerno had already been to this particular site, the second heavy anti-aircraft battery that we found, and it turns out there was a bit more there because unlike the one in Falmouth we went to, we couldn't actually get inside any of the gun positions because any of the gun pits because they were full of thick, dense vegetation, and there was just no way in, mate, was there? And of course, the weather was against us as well, so it's a shame because I'm pretty sure if we could have got into those gun pits, then Penance Battery, then we could have seen. Hopefully there would have been similar sort of stuff left, but yeah, but that went across the bay. That was fabulous. I was really impressed with that, and we did actually find some. Yeah, Jeff said to me that particular site dates from World War One. Yes, I did hear that. Yeah, I think I read that. Yeah, but that's right because if I remember what Jeff said, it was actually there were some anti-aircraft guns from World War One were used there until the site was fully developed, if you know what I mean, and completed, and after that, then they were taken away, and the World War Two era 3.7-inch guns were already set up and working, But yeah, I mean that's pretty amazing, and yeah, so we had a good look round, and there was a lot there, some really original stuff as well, like markings on the wall, and there was also you know the gun pits that were hidden. Yeah, still think there's more there, mate. Yeah, I think we should do that, mate, definitely, because obviously, I mean, we didn't have to climb any fences or anything to get in there. It was just literally walked in and had a walk around, and then respectfully just left, and we so didn't see anyone. We didn't, you know, cause any problems. We were just there and we left. Simple. So yeah, so that site definitely, and it would be that the extra buildings near that one as well. Now the huts, huts that we saw, that would be worth checking out. And of course, we think there's like what I'd call a picket post, which is basically like a guard hut, folks. For on the entrance, because I'm sure that's an entrance to a farm now. But I'm sure that was back in World War II, that farm wouldn't have, well, may not have been there at all, but wouldn't have been anything like it is now, and that would have been the main access from the road. I'm sure, because you would have had trucks full of ammunition and personnel and vehicles, things coming and going, and that would have been the main route to get to it. But yeah, absolutely nuts. And then, of course, that's what a little extra afterwards. We went down the road, didn't we? And we went into that view where we were for our lunch, mate. It was absolutely brilliant, And we got the drones up and we got a nice look view. And one of the things that I thought about was it was a couple of weekends ago. Yeah, it was the same weekend that the oh, I did, mate. That was lovely. I love those things. They're great. The USMRE, we'll get to that in a minute. But the same weekend that we did the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride, there was a seaplane that landed in the Carrick Roads, and it was anchored up there for a day or so, and then it, got going and took off again. And I'll give a shout out for Forsaken Exploration, because he actually he filmed that seaplane taking off, basically, and he flew his drone over it, and it was just some really amazing footage. And I think the his footage was so good that I think it was actually Cornwall Live. Was it Cornwall Live used his footage, which is pretty good, And yeah, stores department of Colonel brilliant, yeah. But yeah, so I did think when we were flying the drones over the bay there, I thought, yeah, isn't it a shame that the timeline of things didn't kind of like collided with a couple of things, but never mind. Yeah, so anybody got anything you want to talk about? Anybody want to ask anything? No? Who's in chat? 4 people. 5 now. So who have we got here? I don't know if it will tell me or not. No. Yeah, so so Mark's Adventures, if you're around, mate. How are you doing, mate? Tell us a bit about you. Are you okay? Are you all good? You're having a day of rest, mate. Yeah, don't blame me. Yeah, got a couple of videos to do and backlog on Sunday. Well, I went out today, actually. I went out on the little bike, and I've christened it Jaffa. I've decided to call it Jaffa because it's orange. And I went out today, and now for the first time in over a year or two, well, probably a couple of years, I actually found a little byway, and I went down and rode it. And yeah, Jaffa. Or I think I might just it might be just Jaffa. Well, Jaffa cake. I don't know, but Jaffa, because of its color. It's orange. And I went over to Mr. Kerno's house on it last night. Actually, it was quite fun. Yeah, and I was surprised actually, because on the way back, mate, the lights were much better than I thought they would be. They were actually pretty good. And if I remember my old monkey bike, the lights on that were pretty terrible. And I think they were so bad that it was I could only really use it in daylight, because the electrical system on that little monkey bike, the red one, they would never put enough never put enough volts into the battery. So if you're riding it along with the lights on and the indicators working and all the electrical systems working, then sooner or later, usually within about 20 minutes, the battery would go flat, which wouldn't stop the engine running, but it just meant that you had no light, which wasn't great if you were out in the dark. Yeah, we'll do that, mate. Yeah, we'll have to do that. Yeah, we'll go and have we'll go and have a little adventure somewhere. We'll go and go out for a ride. Do our usual mooching about in the countryside. And yeah, that byway I came across today, though, that was definitely woke me up. Now, it seemed all right to start with, because it was gravel, and it was like it was gravel. And then it was like lumpy and bumpy for a while. Then it smoothed out again. And then it started going up a sharp, sort of like rising left-hand hill. The bend started bending around to the left. And I swear the lane was no wider than about 5 foot wide. That was it. And the boulders started coming. It was literally like riding around on like there was lots of rocks and ruts and tree roots and all kinds of stuff. And the poor little bike was literally kangarooing like a bucking bronco. Yeah, yeah, and that was obviously the first time I've ever ridden that bike over any kind of rough terrain, and it was actually yeah. I think the suspension on it is very hard, to say the least. It's very hard, and you don't get an awful lot of cushioning from it at all. So it was like repeatedly being kicked up the bottom, and felt like either side I was. It did actually feel like one minute, I did actually feel I was going to be thrown off the bike because yeah, first bit of green lane, yeah, but I did actually think I was going to be thrown off the bike because it was just so side to side and bumps and bumps. And I think it's likely going to be a combination of letting the tires down a bit. So in other words, softer tire pressures, and the springs on the rear. It's got twin shocks on the back, and the preload is pretty wound. They're wound pretty hard, which I'm guessing is for like fast road work, or maybe somebody who's heavy. Then I need to slacken off those preload adjusters on the rear suspension, and hopefully that will give it a bit more a bit more softness to it, because if you're doing like rough ground, you don't want saggy, mattress soft suspension, but you want a bit of give, because it was and I think the tire pressures are blown up way too high anyway. Oh, don't worry, mate. That's all right. Yeah, so yeah, but it was an interesting day today, and I went right the way up around the back of I went round the back of Perranwell. I found a byway down at Perranwell, and then it went all the way up towards sort of Cuscarn, and then I ended up coming out down by Frogpool, and then I came back on the main road from almost. I'd gone almost as far as Lanna, but not quite, and I came back towards Falmouth, and then I took a road going right up towards Stithians, and then it peeled off and ended up going up towards Roscoe. Roscoe is a place on the edge of Falmouth, and there's that wind farm up there, mate. And I actually didn't realise where I was going, but I literally went right the way around the back of that wind farm, and there's this massive gate that was open into the wind farm, and I didn't go in there, but I saw it, and I don't think I've ever been to that part of the road before. Yeah, that quarry, I did see that. Yeah, I did stop a couple of times before I got to the wind farm, and I did notice that the view of that quarry, I've never seen that before, so I'm very surprised I've never seen that before. But it was actually it looks like a different side of the landscape that you don't see, because if you're looking at it from the other side, where you've got the Falmouth to Helston Road, then you don't see that. Yeah, yeah, I bet, mate. Yeah, well, I mean, but from behind that view, on looking into that quarry, that is, yeah, that's. I think it's still in use, but that is some amount of rock that's been shifted over the years. That's a hell of a lot of granite that's been blasted away. Hey, Captain. Hello, mate. Ahoy. Oh, how's it going? Yeah, how are you, mate? You all right? Yeah, thanks for jumping on. Great to see you. Yeah. And yeah, welcome to the live. And yeah, so we've had a bit of a busy couple of weeks, and I've just been talking about what we've been up to, and you know, just been talking about that vids we've done and stuff. And today I've picked up a little well, almost a monkey bike, but slightly bigger than that. So yeah, I've been out today on that, and I've been out down the countryside, and I actually did stop in the middle of nowhere and take some. Made a cup of coffee. It was fab. It was really good. Yeah. No, definitely not for drones. No, it's pretty grim out there at the moment. Go bloody spelling was good. Yeah, spelling. Sorry, I shouldn't have. Yeah, No, but mm, mm, well, yeah. So it was a good video anyway. Well, we didn't do a video today, but today was just a bit of a freebie, like, and spelling was. Sorry, I'm confused here, guys. Just let me clarify. What I noticed in the conversation with Colonel and Captain. I'm a bit confused. Don't know what's going on. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm guessing if it was about your drone video of David Stowe, Captain, that was fabulous. Oh, yeah, yeah. So hopefully the weather will be all right tomorrow. But yeah. Oh, don't worry, Captain. It's fine. Yeah. No, I just wanted to point out something as well. Is obviously tomorrow is the 81st anniversary of D-Day, and at Pendennis Castle tomorrow. Now I know this because one of the dogs up there earlier. There were signs everywhere, and I believe tomorrow they're having a commemorative event at Pendennis Castle, and they're going to be firing the guns at 12 o'clock. So depends how much I sort of sleep tonight, but I might actually go up there if possible and see if I can hear it anyway, and possibly if I fly the drone from the Hornworks, then you never know, I might get a chance to actually see some of it. But yeah, but I believe there's a yeah. Yeah, well, that's what I thought because when I took the dogs up there this morning, there was a little like a little small wooden sign on a stake banged into the ground, stating that the guns are going to be fired tomorrow at midday. So yeah, it was rough. And what I noticed earlier as well, mate, is there's Falmouth Bay is full of ships all coming into shelter. So I'm guessing the weather must be pretty crap, coming up in the next 12 hours, I guess. But we shall see how it unfolds. And yeah, thankfully the bikes are covered up and they're all safe. So that's good. But yeah, I did enjoy it today. Actually, I went out for a little bimble, and yeah, 5 a.m. really bad, but it should be cleared by 2 p.m. 2 p.m. Oh well. Well, I think in the morning I might don the raincoat and take the dogs up the castle again. And well, no, that's probably not a good idea, was it? No, I won't take the dogs. Maybe walk them earlier, and then at midday, then they're going to fire the guns. So that, yeah, definitely wouldn't take the dogs for that. But yeah, it's going to be pretty rubbish tonight. Staying back at the HQ until the evening, might go off and do a ghost hunt. Yeah, yeah. Well, good luck, mate. If you do, yeah, that'd be great. Hope you come up with a suitable location. Mm. Yeah. So I don't know what we've got planned in the future, but it's funny how for quite a long period we haven't done a great deal, and then all of a sudden, all in one go, sort of like over the last couple of weeks, everything's just kind of like unfolded, and we've had lots of things to do and focus on and film, and we've done some good videos, and we've done some drone flying, we've done some motorcycle riding, we've done all kinds of stuff. Hiya, Crafty. Oh, Crafty Corner. Hiya. How are you doing? Hope you're okay. And thanks for joining. Yeah. Yeah. Have you had a good day then today, Crafty, or no? Yeah. So yeah, well, Soph, sorry, I call you Soph. That sounds better, doesn't it? Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I've been out playing with my new toy. I've got a little small like a monkey bike, and well, it's not that small, but it's bigger than my old one, but it's yeah. So yeah, I've been out enjoying the countryside and bombing around the lanes and yeah, trying to hide away, and I found a great spot in the middle of nowhere, and I stopped, and I had my bag with me, so I had all my mess tin and stove. Made a nice cup of coffee in the wilderness, and sat on the grass verge listening to the birds sing. Yeah, crafty. Yeah, okay, crafty. So, whatever you're happy with, go on then. Tell me what you're happier with. Are you happier with being called Soph or happier with being called Crafty? Just an idea. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so yeah, it's been pretty good. To be honest, today I've just been enjoying just getting better. I mean, for a long time I've been going through a very bad time, and hopefully financial. Well, no, not financial. No, I'm talking about mentally. I'm getting a lot better, and I'm starting to think normally as I used to be, which is good. And it's yeah. So I think either is good, but me as oh, that's good. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah. Cool, awesome. Yeah, so I've had a good day, and I've managed to get out today, and I've been out in the countryside, and I've done some wild coffee making, and I've had a good little ride, and yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm actually feeling nice and de-stressed, and I'm feeling like like I've done something. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I mean, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, every ride is therapy. Yeah, and I mean, things. I'm not gonna talk about too much, but yeah, no, it's you know life has a funny habit of completely turning itself upside down and sending you in a different direction. So yeah, when I ride home, that's for yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been 27 or 28 years I've been riding motorcycles from 16 to age 48. I think I don't remember not having a motorcycle. So yeah, Angry Dark, hello mate. All right, yeah. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, welcome to the live. Wow, 9 people in chat. How mad is that? Yeah. So go on then, guys. Tell us what the weather's like where you are. What's the weather like in your neck of the woods? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so awesome. Yeah, yeah, chucking it down. Yeah, same here. Yeah, moist. Everybody hates that word, don't they? Moist. Yeah, all good here, mate. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, moist here. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I did look out the window about half an hour ago, and it was absolutely hacking it down. It was hot chocolate weather. Yeah, definitely moist. Well, hot chocolate's good. Yeah, yeah. I prefer this rum. I think that's my sort of chosen beverage. Yeah, mm, it's all good. Yeah, so hot chocolate weather, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Bikes in the shed. I'm in my HQ, best place to be on, and yeah, definitely, mate. Yeah. Well, I did think earlier. I thought if I do it live tonight, then the weather's crap, so probably there'll be lots of people at home, probably watching YouTube or just wanting to have a gab or a chat. So I thought I stand a good chance of you know getting a few people on the chat. So, but there's nine people in the chat, folks. Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah, it's rum and coke. Yeah, I'm a Captain Morgan's fiend. I'm afraid that's my favourite rum. But I also like. Has anybody heard of the rum called Kraken? That's the one with on the label. It's got an octopus on the label, and the Kraken rum is one of my favourites. But it is closely contested because I believe that Lidl's Lidl's is a good one because the actual supermarket Lidl's, they sell a rum which is called Liberty, and it's actually very nice. It's got pictures of like two or three like schooners on the label. You'd like that, Captain? Yeah. Rattler peach cider, you hooligan. Oh my god. Yeah, Kerno's gonna get wasted. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Captain. Yeah, Kraken. Yeah. But Captain, if you when you go shopping next, if you ever go to Lidl's, look out for the rum called Liberty. It is a very nice rum. That I got to be honest, I do enjoy that. Yeah, Kraken rum. Yeah, I like the octopus. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but the Kraken rum is very expensive, isn't it? We have a monkey rug. It's got 1 to 5 speed with upside down extended. Wow, and it's painted in stars of candy. Oh, that's awesome. That sounds like an amazing monkey bike. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. No worries, Captain. Yeah. Well, I don't drink much at all. I'm lucky if I ever drink once a week, if that. You know. But excuse me, I just thought tonight it might make the tongue flow a bit better. Yeah. So no, that's cool. But yeah, that Liberty rum there is nice stuff. I got to be honest. And Captain Morgan's dark is a favourite as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. No, that's right. Well, I mean, I drink very little as it is usually, folks. I mean, I'm probably lucky if I ever a blowout once every 6 months. You know, if I drink a bit too much once every 6 months, if that. But yeah, I know when I was younger, I used to drink a lot of ale, and well, leading up to ale, when I started off when I was really young, I used to drink a lot of and lager, and everybody drinks lager when you're teenagers, doesn't it? It's just like, no, yeah, let's have a lager, have a lager. But lager, the downside to lager is it fills you with gas. I mean, like proper, like you feel bloated, and yeah, if you know, Woods rum is very good, yeah, and you drink a lot of lager, your belly bloats, and you end up feeling well, you feel full, and I don't know how anyone can drink more than 3 pints of lager because it's just it just makes me feel like a balloon. Yeah, so I don't drink lager like real ale. No, no, no. Well, I dumped lager a long, long time ago now. It must have been over 25 years ago now. I got rid of lager and completely. I'm definitely a real ale. Yeah, belly's gonna get you. Yeah, yeah. I get really bad at. Yeah, yeah. Oh God, yeah. Well, that's just the thing, you see, because I mean, I like ale. I do drink ale, but I've got to be in the right mood for a pint, And if I have a pint, seldom have more than two. That'd be it, one or two, and they're kind of spaced, if you know what I mean, because I mean that's be it. I mean, two's enough to get me going. I'm anybody's after. I'm anyone's after 2 points. How sad is that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. But oh well, yeah. But I like a bit of rum because I drink rum straight as well in small measures, and but I also like it with a bit of coke and stuff. And there was a bit of a thing when they were in the mid 2000s. There was a bit of a trend for Captain Morgans and coke and all that sort of stuff. And you can see I've got my genuine glass here, look, folks. Captain Morgans, yeah. So yeah, and yeah, Captain Morgan's is nice, but on a cold day when you're really, really, really strong. Now, my father, he was a ex-navy. Yeah, we'll get into that now. We'll get into that, Captain. Yeah, now something called Pusser's rum. Now, in the Royal Navy, up until 1971, men in the Navy were given the rum ration, which was basically a tot of rum a day. And it wasn't like Lamb's rum, Wood's rum, any of the ones you think of that you could get in shops or off license. It was the Pusser's rum, which was basically the naval full strength rum. And yeah, rum is back. Hello, rum is back. Yeah, right, I like rum. Yeah, but Pusser's rum is basically the real deal, and that was what they used to give the sailors and officers and men a daily ration of was the Pusser's rum. And if you can buy it, you can buy it in bottles. And my father gets me one usually every year at Christmas, and he gets one as well. And we both like it because it is extremely strong, and it's nice. And when you drunk it, you know you've drunk it because it's like somebody switches on your central heating, and you know but on a cold winter's day, it's perfect. And yeah, on the bottle, the label says, yeah, that's right. Yeah, gunpowder proof. And some people don't know what that's about, but basically, if you go back to the old colonial days, like with Nelson's time and before that, then obviously some captains of the ship would water down the rum, and the only way that the crew could check to see if the rum had been watered down was they would get a small quantity of gunpowder, usually on a solid lump of oak wood, right? And they'd add a dab of the rum to it. And if that rum had been watered down, the gunpowder wouldn't burn. But if it was pure, then they would put the tiny bit of gunpowder on the rum and woof, up it would go. So that sparks the saying gunpowder proof. Yeah. So it's the real deal, but it is very, very strong, and definitely Navy strength rum. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was powerful stuff. But what are we talking about? Why is the rum always gone? Oh yeah, well, it's just too popular, I guess, and it's just too nice. And yeah, puts hair definitely, Captain. Yeah, it certainly does, mate. Yeah, and it's not for the faint heart. But then again, I mean, I know loads of guys like my age and older that like my father's one of them. We like rum, but do any ladies like rum? Is there any ladies among us that actually like rum as well, or is it just a man thing? I don't know. Yeah, never really thought about it. Yeah, so any ladies, if you're watching, let us know if you like rum. Yeah, that would be cool. Your girlfriend likes rum. Oh, good girl. Yeah. 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 I do think it's mainly it's a manly thing. Yeah. Well, it is. But then again, I mean, Captain Morgan. Yeah, but I like that as well. That's a good drink. Yeah, Captain Morgan is a good drink, and yeah. But of course, I guess a lot of the younger. I mean, does anybody think that like spirits and stuff and rum and whiskey and all? Do you think it? This is something I've been told by the much younger generation. It's as if like, do you think people, the youngsters or the youth of the future, will actually appreciate some of the tastes and flavors and actual like the rums? I mean, are they actually brave enough to explore it? I mean, like we did, or do you think it's just going to get to a stage one day where nobody will like rum anymore? Probably not, mate. Yeah, that exactly. Yeah. They're all vegans and exquisite, sort of like different tastes, and yeah, it's not. Well, yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, mate, I agree. Yeah, but I mean, there's some flipping amazing foods and dishes and delicacies and drinks and stuff, and it just strikes me odd, really, how some of the younger generation, they just don't seem to be adventurous enough to give things a go. It's like, I mean, when I was younger and maturing and stuff, and I was really keen to try things. I wanted to try flavors of stuff and foods and dishes and stuff. Yeah, I had a reasonable idea what I didn't like, but I thought to myself, yeah, try that. Maybe you might like it. And to be fair, a lot of stuff I tried, I actually did like, and I eat now. I drink now. Like, yeah, 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 definitely there. Yeah, a few years ago, wasn't into spirits, but these days I will try. Well, absolutely, mate. Yeah. See, you're maturing, mate. We're all maturing. Mind you, you can only say that if you're over 45. Mm. Yeah, whiskey. Now that's the well, yeah. Well, I'm getting there, mate. I am getting there. I waved bye to 45 a long time ago. So yeah, but yeah, no, it's the whiskey. Now wine. Certain wines I do like. Yeah, give me a few years. Captain Cornish rum. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I do drink wine a little bit. There are certain wines I like, and there are some that I just can't do. I just like you know dark red wines and white wines. Now I think some white wines are nice. There's not many that I like, but a lot of them just taste like something you should pour into a jar and put onions in. Does that make sense? Yeah. Holding out for you making a Captain Cornish rum. Yes, holding out for making you make it. Yeah, Captain Cornish rum. That is a thing. That would be good. I think. I definitely think that should be a thing. Perhaps we can sort of like pour it in a certain way, or maybe add your own touch to it, Captain. That would be good. Yeah, that would be good. And I think making rum's actually quite hard in it. I don't. I wouldn't know. I'm not that clever. I wouldn't know how to make rum. But yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hey, Captain, here's an idea for you. Uh, buy a bottle of rum, right? And whichever rum you want, peel the label off, right? And you want to get a label of your own rum company printed and fix it to the bottle, mate. And then, yeah, take some pictures of it, and that would be cool. Then Captain Cornish rum, yeah, that would be good. Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. But wow, 11 people in chat now. Nine from 11. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, that would be a good idea, Captain. And I remember when I was doing, uh, yeah, definitely, yeah. But well, I mean, just buy a bottle of rum, and you can design something on AI or whatever. You can come up with your own label for Captain Cornish rum, and then you can just fix that on the bottle that you attach it to. I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, I have no idea if they do. Yeah. So yeah, we're dropping people at the moment, so I'm guessing it's sorry if we're going over the same old thing again. Yeah, you have to find out, mate. Definitely. But what's the time here and all this? Right, so we've been on for an hour, folks. It's all good. It's gone up again. No, 9 now. Mm. But whiskey, that's an interesting subject because now whiskey's not really something that I like a lot. Uh, I find whiskey it's too hard hitting, if you know what I mean. And there's only one type of whiskey that I really sort of like can drink, and I like it. And believe it or not, it's not Scotch. No, it's Irish. And there's a certain whiskey called Bushmills, which is Irish whiskey, and I love a nice measure of that to sup slowly, or even better, you have a nice strong cup of coffee, and you get your tot of Bushmills, and you in the coffee with it, and that's pretty good. That's the perfect bedtime drink, that is, you know. But so I got something going off on this. Yeah, my phone's doing all kinds of weird things. Yeah, Captain, trademark it, mate. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, print up some labels and stuff. What are the chances? Yeah, go for it. Do it. Yeah, that'd be cool. Captain Cornish Rum. Yeah, yeah. And has a picture of the captain and his tricorn hat on as well. Well, perfect. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, so well, I think we're gonna wind it down in a minute because I'm running out of stuff to waffle about. But yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. But yeah, so I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody for hopefully our little hour of complete twaddle has helped to improve your lives in some way, and we will yeah, take it easy, everybody, and thank you so much for coming on. And it's going up and down, up and down, up and down. So so 13. Wow. Okay, all right. We'll give it another 10 minutes. Yeah, we'll give it another 10 minutes and see how many. We've got 13 people in watching now, which is amazing. Yeah, Rum is back. Yeah, I like that. Rum is back. That's a cool name. Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, then we were. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, thank Angry Duck, mate. Yeah, I think we will wind it down now because it's been an hour of waffling, and I think I'm really running out of things to waffle about, to be honest with you, folks. But I'd just like to finish it up, and I'll say thanks for joining the live, and thanks for all of your support for the videos, all the little likes and clicks and comments and stuff. Thank you all so much, folks, and fear not, we will be back. Have a good weekend, folks. Hope you enjoy yourselves. Cheers.